I was recently reading through a book in which the author was telling about a situation in which his wife received a misdiagnosis. She had excruciating pain in one of her quadriceps, and after exhausting treatments, they finally did an MRI, which revealed an aggressive form of cancer. She came back for a biopsy 4 days later to confirm, and they were reasonably sure that this diagnosis was confirmed, that it was cancer. But they said, we're going to send it out to an expert before we start any treatment. Now, the husband was beside himself. He said, wait a minute, my wife has an aggressive form of cancer, and you want to wait to start treatments? Well, after some time went by, the results came back, and as it turns out, she had some rare disease that mimics that type of cancer, but she actually did not have cancer. Can you imagine if they began cancer treatments based upon a misdiagnosis? Right? This could have been disastrous. Right? You need the right diagnosis in order to provide the right kind of treatment. Well, in today's passage, Jesus' disciples put forth the wrong diagnosis. Therefore, Jesus, the ultimate physician, has to correct the diagnosis that they have set forth so that the patient can receive the right kind of treatment. So we're going to read John chapter 9, verses 1 through 3. As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Neither this man or his parents sinned, said Jesus, but this happened so that the works of God might be on display. Now, the disciples are convinced that the diagnosis of, or the reason that this man was born blind consists of one of two possibilities. Either somehow he sinned, and this caused his blindness, or his parents had sinned, and that is the cause for his blindness. Well, Jesus corrects their diagnosis and actually says it's neither. It's so that the works of God might be on display. I find that often amidst the suffering in our lives or the lives of people we care about, that this can be a breeding ground for a misdiagnosis. We think, oh, certainly this suffering is happening because I messed up, or because God is unfair, or because God isn't really real, or fill in the blank. The problem is that our misdiagnosis of the suffering leads to the wrong treatment of it. Now, often we're asking the wrong question. I think a better question than why is what. Jesus isn't casting blame in this passage, but rather giving us a powerful lesson that the work of God advances through suffering. Not only is this man healed, his soul is saved. Right? The Bible gives all sorts of reasons why suffering happens. But most importantly, what we see throughout the entire Bible is that the works of God are on display through suffering. We need to look no further than the cross. Chances are there is some form of suffering that you are currently experiencing and that I am currently experiencing. Let us be more consumed with the what of our suffering rather than the why of our suffering. So I want to leave you with this question. How has your suffering provided an opportunity to point to the works of God advancing in your life?